Okay, then after step 5, we get to step 6. This is when you actually collect the data. Sometimes the services of an outside research firm can be used to do your field work. Field service companies also provide focus group facilities, more intercept locations, test product storage, as well as even kitchens where you can prepare test food. After the field work, the supervisor will validate the research by contacting 15% of the respondents. They verify that certain responses were recorded properly. Marketing research often uses field workers or interviewers to collect primary data. There's an example of one. A marketing research manager must give very detailed instructions to the field workers. Nothing should be left just to chance. There must be no uncertainties when the interviewing starts. They must know exactly what to ask. Then we get to step 7. Once the data is collected, it needs to be analyzed. And the purpose is to interpret the data, to draw conclusions for decision making. The researcher will then organize and analyze the data using one or more techniques, like, for example, one-way frequency counts, cross-tabulation, sophisticated statistical analysis. There's a cross-tabulation example in your textbook, but here's another one. Let's say male dogs, there were 4 male dogs and 1 cat dog. Sorry, 1 male cat is a total of 5. That's just a perfect example of a cross-tabulation. Dog, cat, male, female. Those are the 4 variables and how they cross. Okay, so when you're interpreting the results, you're going to ask, what do the results say? And usually you want to interpret it in such a way that you address the problem statement. Find out what were you find information that will help you solve the problem and answer the objectives. Example, if women prefer Pringles potato chips, what are the reasons? What can be done to enhance the preference amongst males? What does our information, our data tell us? Then lastly, step 8 is where you prepare and present the report. After you've analyzed and interpreted the data, you can prepare a report to communicate what was found to management and your recommendations. This is a very important step in the process. The researcher must use the data and then convince managers of the recommendations. Must convince them that the results are credible, valid, reliable, and justify that this is accurate data that they can use to make decisions with. Researchers must usually present written and verbal reports of the data. They must produce a document, and it must be customized for the audience. It must be clear, concise. Start with a clear and concise statement of the objectives, followed by a complete but brief explanation of what method was used, and then a summary of the findings should come after that. What did we find? And lastly, there must be conclusions and recommendations. What do we do now with these findings? Based on these findings, what's the next steps? And in conclusion, marketing research is very important because it allows marketers to understand why certain marketing mixes failed and why others succeeded, and this can help them minimize such failures in the future. It can also help them determine the likelihood of the success of future strategies. And of course, it also allows managers to analyze certain segments of their market and helps them to be proactive, not just waiting for things to happen to them. Ultimately, research enhances the quality and accuracy of managerial decision making and makes for much better companies and much more satisfied consumers.